So hi everyone, and welcome to this mindfulness session. What I'd like to do today is talk to you about the power of our imaginations, and in particular how cultivating and training our minds to move more towards acts of kindness and memories of kindness can really help us to increase our sense of happiness and overall well-being. I know at the moment lots of people are describing navigating through this, for some of us, quite stormy weather of our experiences, and for others it could be actually really quite calm. So we're all on a day-to-day basis experiencing life and the ups and downs and the different emotions, and cultivating a sense of kindness can really help us to feel a bit more balanced. Now, whenever we tend to see something in ourselves that we don't like, which can happen an awful lot, it's just part of being a human being, we kind of tend to move towards fighting against it and resisting whatever it is that we don't like, and the inner critic can become quite vocal. And that just leads us to feeling even more upset. And we kind of intuitively know that if we could cultivate a kinder and more encouraging voice, that obviously could be far more helpful for us, especially in during times when, you know, we're actually struggling and finding life quite difficult. So this is where kindness comes in. And the definition of kindness is it's a genuine wish for the happiness and well-being of others and ourselves. So that kind of makes sense, doesn't it? But the difficulty that we have is that as human beings, we've evolved to fulfill two main criteria. Firstly, to procreate, and secondly, to survive. The aspect or the area of happiness has not been one of our priorities. So it's something that is not naturally in our awareness. And so what we tend to do is we have what we call a negativity bias, in that as human beings we're often drawn towards the negative in our lives and the threat in our lives, and we can spend an awful lot of our time engaging in thoughts, imagination about the past and the future, and that these imaginations can be really unhelpful for us and actually create anxiety and upset. And the problem that we have is that whilst our imagination is extremely powerful, our brains can't distinguish between what is real and what is made up. So if we have this negativity bias towards what is perhaps unpleasant, then we're going to end up creating a lot of our own upset because we're imagining all these bad things that might happen. And so what we could really benefit from doing is finding more of a balance, and we can begin to train our minds to focus more towards this quality of kindness. And this can really help us to move towards feeling a lot happier and a lot more balanced, and it can really impact and improve on our overall well-being. So what I'd like to do today is guide you through a practice which is very much around memories of kindness. The more that we can practice this, the more we're going to find that balance between that negativity bias, which only goes to make us feel more and more upset, with this sense of kindness, which will feed into helping us to feel a lot calmer and a lot happier and more content in ourselves. And it is a practice. We do need to practice this because we're not hardwired to naturally tune into times when people are kind to us, or we've been kind to others, or in fact times when we're actually kind towards ourselves. So that's what this practice is going to focus on today. So this is a formal practice, so what I'd like you to do is, wherever you are, find a comfortable position. So I'm going to guide it as though you're all sitting in a chair, and of course you can lie down if that's more comfortable for you. But for this practice, I'm going to guide it as though you're sitting. So sitting with a straight spine, so that you have this sense of feeling open, shoulders relaxed, chest open. Sitting upright with a sense of feeling awake and alert. Being comfortable at the same time. So this is about being kind to our bodies. And closing your eyes if you want to, or just lowering your gaze so that you've got a soft focus in front of you. I'm going to start and end the practice with the chime of the bell. And I'll begin the practice by reading out a poem to you. So this poem is called One Soul. Release the harsh and pointed inner voice. It's just a throwback to the past and holds no truth about this moment. Let go of self-judgment, the old learned ways of beating yourself up for each imagined inadequacy. Allow the dialogue within the mind to grow friendlier and quiet. Shift out of inner criticism and life suddenly looks very different. I can say this only because I make the choice 100 times a day to release the voice that refuses to acknowledge the real me. What's needed here isn't more prodding toward perfection, but intimacy, seeing clearly and embracing what I see. Love, not judgment, sows the seeds of tranquility and change. So beginning this practice by taking your awareness to the fact that the body's breathing. So we're just spending a few moments now practicing settling the mind and grounding the body. You can notice the body breathing by sensing and feeling the movement as it rises and falls with the in-breath and the out-breath. And just beginning now to regulate the breathing. You can do that by allowing the breath to be slightly deeper as you breathe in, and then slightly longer with the out breath. Not forcing this in any way, just very gently deepening the in-breath and lengthening the out-breath. Perhaps slowing the breathing down too, if that helps. Seeing if you can make the in-breath and out-breath a similar length. And introducing counting if that helps. Breathing in for a count of 2 or 3. And then a similar count for the out-breath. You might rather use phrases instead. So just very quietly with a soft tone, saying to yourself, breathing in as you're breathing in, and breathing out as you breathe out. And knowing that the mind will wander off back into thinking. Perhaps you're noticing the busyness of the mind, and that's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that, it's just how our minds are. We can just gently guide our awareness back again to noticing, feeling the rise and fall of the body breathing with counting or phrases, if that helps. Beginning now to focus your awareness a little more on the out-breath. And perhaps noticing that when the body releases breath, it also softens and relaxes a little. And you allow the body to soften and relax with each out-breath. Perhaps noticing different parts of the body that may be holding tension. Maybe in the face and the jaw. Perhaps in the shoulders. Maybe the arms and the hands. Softening with each out-breath. And perhaps softening in the tummy area. Just letting go of any tension with each out-breath. Noticing how the legs feel. Noticing if you're holding tension, resisting against gravity. And instead, see if you can allow gravity to hold you unconditionally. And if you've not done so already, letting go of any counting or phrases and allowing the body to breathe in its natural rhythm. So just spending a few moments now sitting, noticing, feeling the body contacting the chair, the ground, with a light awareness on the breath. Noticing when the mind wanders off into thinking, as it will. Knowing that this isn't a problem. And gently guiding your awareness back again to sensing and feeling the body just as it is right now. Sitting, breathing. And now spending a moment, without trying too hard, bringing to mind a memory of when someone was kind to you. It doesn't have to be anything big, just something really small perhaps. A memory of when someone was kind to you. And see whether you can bring to mind the details of the memory. Who was involved? What actually happened? And how did you feel? Noticing now any sensations in the body. There's no right or wrong way to experience what's happening right now. Just noticing whatever is happening. Any experiences, any sensations or feelings. How did it feel when someone was kind to you? What do you notice right now? Thoughts, feelings, sensations? Just putting that memory to one side and taking your awareness back to the breath. So just sitting, resting in the present moment, feeling the body breathing. And now bringing to mind a memory of when you were kind to someone else. Again, it doesn't have to be anything big or significant. Just perhaps a kind message to someone, or maybe you made someone a drink. Just a memory of a time when you were kind to somebody else. Seeing if you could bring to mind the detail of the memory. Who were you with? What did you do? How did you feel? Notice any response within yourself right now. Noticing how the body feels, any thoughts, physical sensations related to a memory of when you were kind towards somebody else. Noticing if your mind is wandering off into thinking, getting lost in thought. And if that's happening, again, it's not a problem. Just bring your awareness back again to notice how the body feels. Focusing on the breath. And letting go of that memory now. Bringing your awareness back to sensing and feeling the body sitting in the chair. Noticing any sensations, feeling the breath just as it is. And now finally, bringing to mind a memory of when you were kind to yourself. Noticing once again, how does that feel? What did you actually do? What was the act of kindness? No matter how big or small. How did it make you feel? Noticing any thoughts, physical sensations or emotions in the body right now. Noticing any sensations of perhaps numbness or resistance too. And an act of kindness right now would be to allow those sensations to be there just as they are. With a sense of acceptance. And maybe saying to yourself, it's okay. And now taking your awareness once again back to the breath. Noticing how the body feels. Just spending a few moments giving yourselves permission to just sit, resting. Light awareness on the breath, sensing into the body. Nothing to do, nowhere to go, no one to be, just sitting and resting. And then ending the practice when you can no longer hear the sound of the bell. Thank you very much, everybody.